So the proposal layout. So we should have a summary page, the contents page, the proposal body, the budgeting, the conclusion, appendices. So summary page, why is it before the contents page? Does anyone know? Why is it?
Yeah, because you can get a quick look of your content.
Yes, well, basically that answers part of the question. So before the contents page, it tells you what is the proposal going to be about. So when you read the table of contents, you understand the contents as well, okay? So that is part of it. So the proposal body comes after. The proposal body is basically anything that you need to include to support yourself, the budgeting, the finances, the conclusion. As I said, the budgeting, when you are doing, don't input an Excel spreadsheet in there, okay? So take the stats out and draw conclusions with the stats. Whatever you have on an Excel sheet, you can put in an appendix, okay? Remember that. So, as we say, summary. The summary should be about 300 words. It should be only within the page, one A4 page. It should not be anything longer than that. What is the current context, the current situation of the problem? Indicate what your organization feels would be the way of addressing the problems. Why did you adopt, why is your adopted way suitable? And what impact will be achieved, and who the main beneficiaries are. Very straightforward, very short as well, 300 words. You should include all that, okay? All that. So generally speaking, in 2 paragraphs, it should be done in 2 paragraphs. That's it. So the summary page, current context and situation. How is the market like? Okay. So I don't know if you guys heard about an organization called 1 Acres of Land. Anyone? No. Okay. It's an American organization. It's a social enterprise that deals with offering African farmers loans and training support, okay? So the current situation in Africa is that they don't even own their land. They don't have the sufficient training, the resources to support them. What the organization feels be the suitable way of addressing the problem. How can they support them? Raise funds to support them. So by raising funds, they can support them through training and providing them with crops to grow. So what is a suitable way? So financing them in a way is suitable as well. What impact will be achieved? The farmers would be able to support themselves and live a better life. Who the main beneficiaries are? The farmers, and also maybe the country as well. So depending on the situation, apply it, okay? Apply it. So another thing, list the main headings, okay? Contents page, only the main headings. You do not need to include description of what should be included, okay? So the main headings help readers to locate the information they're searching for. And also indicate the page numbers, show the structure of the proposal, okay? So always remember to indicate page number. If you have any details, do not include in the contents page. The contents page should be really clean and clear and direct, okay? So, proposal body. When you talk about proposal body, talk about the background, okay? Describe briefly, supported with relevant figures, the background of your organization, specific relevant opportunities and or problems that the society, community, environment faces. So it's about a page long, okay? Explain how you identify the problem, the opportunity you have found, okay? So the opportunity you have found. So maybe here you can think about the impact chain. Do you guys remember anything? Later we'll talk about a little bit, we'll recall a little bit of your memory. Objectives. State the qualities of your organization to address such issues. Summarize the intended process, okay? When you talk about it, think about how you are going to do it. The process not only involves what you are going to do, it also involves any other relevant information such as market, how are you going to promote your organization, how would you package your organization, and which level is your organization at. So these things you should include as well. And the intended process, it really depends if you need that or not. So depends whether you have, actually, can you project the intended process. So budgeting, what is budget? When you talk about budget summary of running the business, how much does it cost to run the business? Explain using graphs and charts to support your financial plan. So when you talk about budget summary, as I said just now, you can do an Excel spreadsheet, calculate all this. But when you do your calculation, when you do your explanation, it is better off if you use graphs or charts, basic graphs or charts to support you. Pie charts, bar charts, line graphs, all these can help you. So the other things, the financial plans, you can use the financial analysis that you've done in your Excel spreadsheet, include in the appendix. You should indicate expected expenditure over a period of time. Indicate the sources of money. Where does the money come from, okay? Is it from donation? Is it from fundraising? Is it that you can self-generate? How can you generate the money, okay? And also expenditure over a period of time. Direct, indirect expenditure. What are some direct expenditures? What are some indirect expenditures? Direct expenditures. What are some direct expenditures? Anyone know? Salary, very obvious direct expenditure. So think about where does the expenditure come from. Project expenditure. At least you should be able to project 1 year. That is the minimum you should be able to project, not a month, it's a year, okay? So it's very simple calculation. All you have to do is times, multiply, and you should be able to project. For those who don't do accounting, you guys should just times. It's very easy because I'm not a math person too. So try to define the areas of expenditure. Any other details you can include as well. Whereabouts does the expenditure come from? So list, give them a list. Where is it? So list it out, calculate. But all these should be shown in the appendix. Use graphs and charts to support you in your proposal body, in the budgeting part, okay? Okay, lastly, the conclusion. When you talk about the conclusion, restate in summary the objective and the mission. Make a final appeal for your project, your mission, your objective. Restate that. State further prospect and benefits to the society. What do you expect? And can you apply a bit of emotion to make it stand out? May include an evaluation plan. So methods, how you are going to test whether the project succeeds. So the evaluation plan may be included in the appendix as well. Just use the statistics or just use it as an example so that people who want to read further can go back to the appendix. How to sustain the initiative that have been started under the business. You have started a business, you have to be able to maintain it. You have to be able to sustain it. So how can you do it, okay? How can you do it? How can you continue to run this business with passion? So lastly, the appendix. Detailed technical description of the proposal content. What kind of content? So basically anything that you find too wordy, anything that you find too much to read in the body should be included in the appendix. Devoted to expected project for secondary interest to the reader, additional information, what we call, okay? So how are you going to reach out to the users? Maybe what is your marketing strategy, or what are some marketing statistics? Time frame for the project. How long do you think it should take for you to reach input and then reach your goal, okay? How long can you project? Reflect how you feel about the project, okay? How you feel? Well, if there is a letter of support, obviously it is recommended. If there are any facts from official websites that can help support you, you can indicate that as well. Lastly, if there are any other agencies involved, include detail and description. If you are joining forces with any other agencies, if you are collaborating or you plan to do collaboration, include the information, because they have to look into whether it is recommended, whether it is suitable. So all this should be included, okay? All this should be included. Any questions so far? Any questions? No? No questions? Okay. Should I let you guys off on a break? Is it very tiring? Okay, I'll give you guys, let me see. Okay, I'll give you guys a break, I believe. It's 11. I can let them on a break first, right? Okay, you guys are given 5 minutes. Return at 11 o'clock. Thank you. Okay, so guys, let's continue. So, I hope the break was refreshing. Everyone tired? Okay, we're going to continue on to talk about brainstorming, deciding objective, designing an outline, okay? So these are the few parts. Later, we will look into the cases. The cases, the 5 cases, the example cases on page 62, we'll talk about, is it 61 or 62? We'll talk about the cases, and then you guys will be assigned in groups to work on an outline, okay? To work, brainstorm an outline, actually. Basically, brainstorming an outline. So, when you think about brainstorming, when you're writing a proposal, think about why are you writing? Why are you writing? Why are you guys writing? And then the second thing you think about, the reader's response, okay? What do you want them to do or think? What do you want them to do or think, okay? So, why are you writing? Obviously, you're writing. What is the purpose of you writing? You're writing to win the competition, right? You're writing to persuade the reader to buy your proposal. Think about the reader's response. You want them to understand you. You want them to think about your proposal as being something that would work, something that would sustain. Think about your proposal as being suitable to Hong Kong, suitable to the economy, suitable to the society, suitable to the environment. Reader's information. Now, you think, what do they need to know to help you? What do they need to know to help you? Think about the questions. What do they need to know? What things should they know in order for them to help you, okay? So, how could you persuade them to say yes? Basically, how can you persuade them to say yes? Why are you writing? Show value of choosing your proposal. Obviously, where does the value come from? Your analysis, your support, okay? Keen to develop the sector of society and environment. What do you want them to think? Approve, definitely approve, right? The social enterprise would succeed in the market. Think, what do they need to know? Cost, running details. Why this is a great product or service. Value for the money. Other external factors that support your idea. All this should be included in your proposal. So when you think, the first thing, before you develop your outline, before you draw any planning, any brainstorming, stop to think, okay? Stop to think first. 3 things, okay? So, the first thing I'm going going to talk about mind mapping, okay? Mind mapping, a technique that all of you guys should or have already learned from school. Obviously, mind mapping, four things actually. Subject of attention is in the central image. Main themes of the subject from this branches out from the central image. The branch holds the key image or word, and then the branches form a connected nodal structure. So basically it should look like this. It is in your course manual as well, okay? So how to mind map, okay? How to mind map. There should be a clear structure, and then what do you use? Paper, a blank sheet. You use images, colors, words, lines to connect, and it's actually about fun, okay? When you develop a mind map, think about what is your center point, okay? Your center point obviously is your objective, your mission in this competition, okay? Your mission, your objective. So what is the mission or objective of the social enterprise? Think about, use words and pictures to help support you so that you know what you need, and then lines to associate with these things. And then lastly, experiment different ways to link them, and then the structure should develop like something like this, okay? This is mind mapping. Reverse thinking. Another thing you can use is reverse thinking. So reverse thinking, you can apply any idea, statement, or situation. It's about thinking the opposite way on a reverse idea, okay? On a reverse idea. So you think the opposite in order to develop the questions to help you resolve your problem. So this is on page 18 as well of your course manual. You can turn to it. So reverse thinking. When you think about things, you think about not the more interesting. Think about the first idea, and then you stimulate and think about other things. So like this one, we might be told that people get stressed because they work too hard. The reverse idea is that they get stressed because they don't work hard enough. Think the opposite, okay? Which leads me to the insight that people get stressed because they don't work hard enough at doing the right things, okay? And that gives us another way of helping people find a solution to stress. So when you think the opposite, you would come up with questions that helps answer your problem. Okay, so this one is about an IT manager. He asks, how can I decrease efficiency of my solution? So using the reverse situation, he wants to improve the efficiency, so he asked himself, how can I decrease it? How can I decrease it? Not gather any user requirements, not evaluate as is solution, not imagine to be processes, not emphasize on infrastructure, not create user-friendly interfaces. So think the opposite. When you think the opposite, questions come out. These questions would link to what kind of parts you need to include in your proposal, okay? When you think the reverse, you get the outcomes usually. If you don't know how your body should be formed, you can use this idea as well, okay? You can use this idea. Okay. Another one, visual thinking. Visual thinking is actually using facts, data, subjects, issues, questions, and forming a visual picture, okay? So it's actually pictures that used to help solve problems. I don't think you guys would use this. I'm just introducing to you guys that it's possible, but this is not as recommended. So because visual thinking involves a lot of drawings, it's similar to mind mapping. I doubt this would be efficient. It's not an efficient way. So if you have the time, you can doodle and draw, then you can do this. Then you might be able to come up with something interesting, okay? Something interesting. So it helps. It's very simple. It enhances your imagination, understanding, and learning. You can associate with the information, the graphs, and everything. So this one, Scamper. Has anyone heard of this way of brainstorming? Scamper? No. Scamper is based on the notion that everything new is modification of something that already exists. Have you guys heard that iPhone existed many, many years ago? It's actually a modification of something. Anyone know? Anyone heard of that? No? Okay. It is a modification. If you guys know the tablet, do you guys know who came up with the first tablet? You know, do you guys have iPads? You guys have, I see MacBook Air in the room. Any Mac fans? I know a lot of Apple fans. Everyone, how many of you are using iPhone? Hands up. Only a few? Okay, I thought you guys would all use iPhones. Okay, anyways, iPad, the tablet, is actually formed many, many years ago. I think it was around 15 years ago by Fujitsu. So, you guys know how long it actually existed for. So it is actually a substitute. It's something that you combine, adapt, magnify, put to other uses, eliminate, rearrange, okay? So the things that you know, Apple using icon, Dell, I think it was, or was it Microsoft? One of them came up with icons long time ago. They're just not very certain about the way of using icons. So when you are thinking about it, how can you enhance? Even though you might be doing something, I haven't read any of the stuff the brief introductions yet. Later I'll be reading it. Even if something that is not too new, something that is not as innovative, you can actually make it better, enhance it, and make it better. You can draw comparison, magnify it, rearrange it, put it into other use, combine a few other things, okay? So think about how you can do this. Substitute. What can I substitute in my selling process? When you are selling, what can I substitute? How can I combine selling with other activities? So this talks about how can I increase sales in my business. How can I substitute my selling? How can I combine selling with other activities so that I can enhance the selling of the product, okay? So selling, at the same time, you guys heard about selling. What kind of sellings do you guys know? More recent selling. Internet marketing. Internet marketing? Anyone? So how can I combine selling with other activities? Any other promotional activities? So think about how you can combine it. Like Facebook games. Facebook games you guys use, and well, a lot of people play these games, right? But at the same time, they are selling products at the same time online. You think about it, the points or the money in Facebook, how do they generate money from these games? It's because you guys pay for PayPal, right? Pay for money, okay? So adapt. What can I adapt or copy from someone else's selling process? Okay, if they generate sales, how did they generate sales? The selling process. Why are they working? Why is that other company not working? Think about it, copy it, change it. Magnify. What can I magnify? Emphasize. What can I make bigger? What can I make better? Magnify it. How can I put my selling to other uses besides selling alone? How can I put it into other use? Selling, I can also educate. Later you will see one of the cases. At the same time, they're selling a product, but at the same time, they're educating people as well. How can you do that? What can I eliminate or simplify in my selling process? What is unnecessary, okay? So maybe they involve training in a company, maybe training is unnecessary. Maybe they involve another process that is old-fashioned, it's been 10 years and it's not useful. Think about how you can delete it and simplify it to make it more efficient. How can I change? Reorder, reverse. Reordering and reversing doesn't mean that you are changing, but at the same time you have to simplify, eliminate, magnify to actually make it better, to make it something that is different, okay? So So we're not just looking about you have to be innovative, you have to be creative, okay? So, what will you be doing? Why are you doing this project? How will you be doing it? Who will be doing it? Where will it be done? How long will it take? How much will it cost, okay? How much will it cost? Think about these. Plan your proposal. Who has the best, okay? Okay, this comes to part 2 of this part. Besides brainstorming, we have to know the objective. What is the objective? Address whether the problem or opportunity being addressed fits your concern. Does it assist tackling the problem? Is there a significance in it, a potential learning significant in it? Think, okay? So some common things about context. Some things you should know about your business, some things that you should bear in mind. Country, region, or details. When you are looking at different locations, if you're helping someone in, well, let's say you're helping someone in Africa and you're helping someone in China, it's 2 different countries, 2 different regions, 2 different countries basically. So when you think about it, how can you assist them? Maybe there is problem of communication, maybe there's problem of culture. There are many, many different things you have to think about. Also, government, think about laws that help, laws that assist, laws that are against people doing these things. Like in Africa, what I know, the farmers, there's a law that actually before the World War II, they were supposed to provide funding for fertilizers in Africa. But after World War II, they stopped providing funding for fertilizers for these farmers. So think about the location, the region. Does it help or does it not help your business? Think about these obstacles. Turn to these obstacles early, not late, okay? And support. How are you going to overcome these obstacles? Poverty information, state of economy. What is the state of economy? Can people afford to pay for your product? Can these people afford to even take out a cent? You have to think about it. Because if they can't, or if you're lending out a loan, or if you are promoting something that involves finance, you think about how they are going to pay you back, okay? Unemployment rate or employment rate, okay? That is another issue that you have to look into. Is there unemployment rate? How is unemployment rate affecting the economy? Gender issues. Men and women are different. Circumstances, men and women are different. How would they feel if you help them in assisting them in this manner, okay? So think about it. Men and women. Men, they have an ego, so think about how you can overcome it. Women, they're more emotional. How can you overcome it, okay? Gender issues. When you're doing marketing, think about gender as well. Not everything fits everyone. Not everything fits every gender, okay? Another thing, health issues. Okay, health issues is another thing to look into. Do they have the physical ability to do such work? Are they healthy enough? Education level, do they even understand training? Would they even accept training? And what language is the training? Should be the training in? And how are you going to help them in the training? Education level is another thing. So know your business, okay? So what information would be useful for the reader to know about the context? So let's say, for this example, there will be an increase in standard of living. All farmers in ABC by the year of 2013 as a result of better agricultural practices. So there would be improvement. Improvement in what? Standard living, okay? And through what? Agricultural practice. So you have to indicate in what context, right? Standard of living. Compare the standard of living in urban and rural areas. What is the standard of living? The standard of living to you, to someone in a poor country, to someone who needs help is very different, okay? So identify what is standard of living. Is it just that they can feed themselves? Is it just that they have a little bit more of an income? Or is it that they can actually improve to the extent where they don't have to worry about finance? How much of an increase? How much is it? Okay, think about how much, as in maybe the portion, maybe the percentage. If you don't know the exact numbers or percentage, you can assume, but indicate in notes that you're assuming, you're drawing assumptions. Agricultural practice, why the current one is not working. The previous one, if you are implementing something new, why are you not using the old one? Why are you not enhancing the old one to improve it? Think about that. Why is the current one not working? Why is yours going to work? Compare. Remember to compare. Comparison is another thing that you need to do. Okay. Objective. Define the product and services. Can emerge in a number of ways. Okay. Priorities, understanding of the mission, current strengths, future capacities. Common interests, mutual areas of interest that the groups share, leader influence, an influential or highly visible person, media attention, it is a problem reported in the media, government policies. It is a problem that is recognized by the government and requires help, okay? Where does your initiative come from? Where does your initiative come from? Think, why did you want to start? How did you come up with this mission? How did you come up with this objective? Why do you want this goal? Think about these questions, recall, think about how you can help these people, okay? So, where does it come from? Priorities, common interest. Is it common interest? Your group mates all share the same thing. The judges have to know that. Not just the company works, the enterprise can run, but at the same time, are you guys all going to participate? Do you guys have the same vision, okay? It's about the mission, but also the vision. Can you envision yourself working towards your goal after 1 year? After this competition completes, after 1 year, after 2 years, after 10 years, what can you envision, okay? So, common interests, leader influence. Leader influence, anyone influential thinks, maybe Obama thinks it's worthwhile, or maybe our chief executive, Donald, thinks it's worthwhile, or maybe media attention. It's something that draws to your attention. So resources is another thing. Refer to these resources, come back to them, okay? Okay, so define the product service. Can I have, where is my mic? Where's my mic? Oh, no one is here to assist me with my mic. Can I just have, you can just have the next one read. Just read, you can just read this. Can you just read? Yes, yes.
Social entrepreneurship is about innovation and impact, not income. We have seen that the function of entrepreneurs is to reform or revolutionize the pattern of production.
So it's not about the income. Yes, of course. Why is there this competition? It is to support. It is to support. Know that you guys can support yourselves as a social enterprise. But at the same time, you have to think, can you reform? Is it a revolution? Can you make something better? Can you improve? Okay, think about it. So, objective, define the product service. Is it mission fit? I think Mingles previously have talked about this. So, to what extent does your product or service fit with the scope of mission? The inputs, the activities, the output, that is a social enterprise process, into the market, the outcome of goals and objective. Theory of change. You must input this into your proposal. If we don't see this, if if the judges don't see this, then they can't analyze whether you understand what is the theory of change. So remember, outcomes, goal, objective, the mission, okay? Your mission comes from what the output is. So, motives. So there are motives, so you can look at it. Is it social value creation, social economic value creation? So it shouldn't be purely economical, honestly speaking, right? So only these two, okay? So basically, what you're looking for is where does the money come from? Can you generate, can you run, but at the same time, can you give back to the society, okay? So what you want to achieve. What do you want to achieve? What is the social impact? Your ends, okay? How you want to achieve it. The goal is what you want to achieve. Where is your goal? Explain your goal. Support your goal, okay? Where is your goal? How you want to achieve it. Your means. Who are the main beneficiaries? The people we're talking about, okay? Main beneficiaries means the end beneficiaries, not anyone involved in the process, not you guys who are generating income, paying yourself off. No, not that. It's about the end people. So if you talk about this further, we can look at a case, okay? A case study. So there will be an increase in standard of living of all farmers in ABC by the year 2013 as a result of better agricultural practice. That's case number 1. Case number 2, the farmers in XYZ region of ABC will improve their standard of living by the end of 2013 through the development of appropriate agricultural skills to enable them to do economical, viable, and ecological sustainable farming. What are the differences between these two objectives? What are the differences?
Just read it out again.
No, what are the differences?
I'm so sorry.
Can you give the next one in line? Yes. What are the differences? Can you guys?
Case, they're actually improving through in the second case they actually acquire new agricultural skills. So that's long-term sustainable.
Okay, to be precise, okay, let's look at this. Case number 1, it's a general and overall objective. When you're talking about objective, you have to look, is it too general, too broad? Is your objective too general, too broad? You have to be more specific at it, because if you are not specific at it, people don't understand how can you actually maintain within a short term, a short period of time, you can achieve it. So what are the things you're going to do? What are the things you're going to do to achieve it? Look at it. This one. Farmers in XYZ region will improve their standard of living by the end of 2013 through the development. What development? And also enable them to do commercial viable and ecological sustainable farming. What type of farming? It's not just about agricultural practices, but a particular type, okay? A particular type, and also when. When is the time? So let's look at it this further. So when you look at a goal, this is a goal, what we call, the shorter version is what we call a goal. It is something that is long-term. Everyone is working towards it, not just you, the organization. Your business will definitely make contribution to it. But at the same time, it is not something that can be achieved right away. So this is what we call a goal, okay? So it benchmarks against the success of your business and that of the other with similar purpose can be measured, okay? You guys have similar goals, so you can measure what is your success, what are theirs, and then you can draw comparisons to it, okay? Think about that. It must be compatible with your organization's mission, of course. It has to be the same as your mission, or else it wouldn't be called a goal. Usually take longer to achieve it than the purpose. The purpose can be achieved in a short period of time through your implementation of the things you do, training, finance. How can you actually come to a goal? It takes long-term purpose to support the goal, okay? So here, this is more specific. It's actually easier to design because you have specific details of what you want to do. If it's too broad, like just agricultural practices, there are so many different formats, okay? Then it's not specific enough to indicate which part. So you have to include specific targets. How many farmers? Maybe you should include not just the farmers, but how many farmers? And also achieve of the purpose is result of which it would be judged. So make it possible to achieve. The purpose you should indicate in your writing. It should be achievable. It should be where it would be judged. Never overpromise. Estimate by skill and capacity. Don't overpromise yourself. Don't overpromise our judges. Please pay attention. Estimate by your skill and capacity. The manpower you have, the support that is coming from finance, the skills that you have acquired, can it support you to fulfill your purpose? Think about it. Don't think about something that is very big and unachievable. Think about something that is achievable as something that would sustain, okay? So, inputs. Define the product and service. Inputs, innovative story, mission, okay? As the mission tells you how the social enterprise bridges social opportunity into sustainable reality. The goal is to reach the desired mission. Your inputs is to go to the mission. Your innovation story, your innovative story here should head to the mission. If it doesn't head to the mission, it is not working. So, clear story, a roadmap on how to get from inputs to the mission of desired social impact. There should be a roadmap, a timeline maybe, or maybe statistics, or maybe support, factual support on how you can come to your mission, okay? How you can reach your destination, your goal. So remember, as I said previously, the purpose has to be clear, and also it has to be something achievable. If it's not something achievable, then you do not meet up with your mission, okay? So, another outline, the people. When you have what you want, when you think about your goal, your mission, then you come and think about who is your target, which is your target population? Which is your target population? Statistics. Why do you target this population? How do you recruit these people to come to the program? Where do you recruit? How does your recruitment work? These things should be indicated, okay? Target populations predicted. Incentive for product and service, how the target audience will benefit. Indicate the people. Where does the people come from, okay? Where does the people come from? Why do you think these people will look into your product, your service? How the target audience will actually benefit in the end. Recruitment is part of marketing as well. Remember that. Recruitment is part of marketing. Target populations demographics, you can include statistics on how many or how big of a target market you have, okay? Staff, another thing, people. People doesn't just involve the target population. Obviously, there is the consumer or the beneficiaries that we're talking about, the target population, but also you have to have your staff members to help support, run your business. So, project success or failure depends on these people. People want to know, are you guys going to run this business full-time or part-time? Is Are you going to recruit consultants? Are you going to recruit volunteers? What and how are you going to recruit these people? What are the qualifications, skills, and time commitment? If you have knowledge in that aspect, if you have knowledge, especially work experience, indicate in your proposal, indicate in your appendix, okay? Responsibilities that they have in the business. Of course, you have to indicate their responsibilities. What does the volunteers do? What does the part-time staff members do? What are the consultants going to support you with? These things should be indicated. Duration, timeline. Another thing that one should include, a timeline of just accomplishment. The first part, organization plans, okay? How do you start up the business? You need the plans as well. So, when do you start the recruitment? They recruit on a date and then the training. So, indicate. This may be included in appendix as well. You can use this as very good support. It means and it shows that you have planning, okay? That means you know what you're doing. It is something that you can just give the initial things. You don't need actual details, but at least you know how it would generate. It allows the judges to know how you can actually run your business as well. Outline. Outline and cost of budget. We will talk about this in our financial analysis. We will show an Excel spreadsheet later, or part of an Excel spreadsheet later, and we will input some data and actually do an exercise on it. But when we talk about costs and budgets, two things: direct costs, indirect costs. Very, very basic, you should include. Result from purchase of goods and service needed to implement your current project, those required to run your organization each day, okay? So two type of costs. One that runs, the other that you are involved in every day. So you have to know what kind of cost involves, and the judges have to know how much money do they need or does your company need to generate your business. So typical items for budget includes the personnel, full cost of full or part-time employees, salaried employees, regardless of hours worked, earning per year times percentage of time annually spent on the business. How much time do they spend on the business? Wage employees, hourly rated, hours per week, working weeks, hour wage, okay? Indicate these. These are the direct costs. The direct costs, any capital, the assets, boats, cameras, any assets that involve in the business, supplies, any supplies, stationery that you need, any materials, books, CDs, DVDs that help support your training, any capital expenditure, any other things, travel costs is another thing. Although you guys might neglect this part, I believe, but think about it. Travel costs takes up a big part of a running of a business, because when you look at it, you have to travel, and every day travel expenditure is going up, especially with MTR, if you guys haven't noticed. So pay attention. How much travel costs do you need should be indicated as well, okay? Generally includes overhead and administrative costs, two ways of calculation: a percentage of total direct costs, a percentage of total personnel costs, okay? Percentage. So this is an example. So I think this is an example of it. So there's a program director full-time. Later you will have the Excel spreadsheet and the financial analysis part where you can actually look at the details. This is just an example. So there should be the organization staff, the program director, full-time, part-time, any consultants, any equipment, supplies, travel. So all these, the direct costs, right? Okay, now what I want you to do, we are going to, before we start this brainstorming activity, I want every one of you to turn to the case cases on page 61. I'm going to give a brief introduction of the 5 cases that we have included with us today. So we're going to use these 5 cases throughout the first part, proposal, and the second part, presentation. So pay attention to which case you're using. You guys, for those who have their laptops over here, you guys can do research online as well. I've included the links to these companies. They are 4 of them. If you guys can look at briefly, Keep, the first one, Keep, New Leaf Paper, Playworks, Genesis Work, and lastly, Greenworks. Okay, the first four cases are actually Forbes magazine's top 30 of the year. So you can look at Genesis Work is the top of the year. So I will explain to you how they generate. They have done their financial analysis, and they have posted all these on their website. So you guys can go to their links and refer to them for further information when you need help or you don't understand how you can actually come up with a proposal. They have examples up there. So look at their links and about the company that you should be able to find it. So the first one, 61. Let's talk about the first case. No is Power Program. So KIP is an open enrollment. Hello? No battery.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello?
Okay.
Hello? Yes? Okay. It is.
Okay. In this program, a lot of teachers and a lot of staff members and students are involved. This program is for those who are going to graduate high school. So in this program, basically, parents, teachers put learning first. They are not forced to join this program. They go into this program to actually help them, assist them to actually go into college. So they have students, teachers, school panels supporting them. And if you look at the values, if you turn to page 62, which you guys might want to implement in your proposal too, what are your values? So each of these organizations have their own clear outline of values. So they have high expectations. There's no excuse to students' background because they work with the less fortunate students, those who are going through poverty, those families who are going through poverty, they will work with them. But despite of these backgrounds, they have high expectations. They're still supposed to go to school. Choice and commitment, they're not assigned to these programs. They actually nominate themselves. They choose to participate in these programs. They have more time. In these programs, students are given more time to participate in learning. So they have longer weekends, longer school hours. Power to lead, their principals, the staff members have greater control over the school so that they can actually implement new or suitable time schedules, focus on results. They use standardized tests to do measures, okay? That is about the KIP. And then the next one, New Leaf Paper, turn to 63. New Leaf Paper is another one. They use 100% post-consumer recycled paper. So all these paper come from actually recycled materials. So the paper does not use, they are coated and uncoated, but they try to actually be environmental friendly. They do not use bleaching as well. They try to actually limit the use of bleaching. I don't remember if they actually use, yeah. And also another thing, they educate at the same time, sell their products. So it's a marketing strategy as well. When you think about it, education is a marketing strategy. So when they educate, they tell people why it is better off to use recycled paper through marketing. When they market, they tell them as well. So they're educating the society at the same time selling a product, okay? So when you look at page 64, they have 6 points. Waste reduction. Where does waste reduction come from? They use recycled paper, so less waste in the society, in the environment. Location. They use mills that are close to urban forests, close to the city, basically where the collection comes from. Clean chemistry. Free bleaching system. It doesn't go back to the environment, so they can think about the environment part as well. And lastly, renewable energy. They use wind and a lot of other things. Sustainable fiber source. They try to use less and fiber in the process as well, okay? So when you look at their values, their values is to provide paper, but at the same time, they must be credible and honest, right? Responsible paper choice, what kind of choice? Top quality paper, joyful collaboration, there's values of partners, and meaning. They build good values into their decisions. When they choose their product, when they choose the materials in making their product, they pay attention to what they're using. They pay attention to whether they're affecting the environment, okay? So that's with page 65. Let's turn to page 66, play works. Okay, so Playworks, another part of it. Playworks is a very fun name, obviously. It actually collaborated with Mattel. So one of the things is you can look at about collaboration as well. If you are looking into collaboration, financial supporting from external factors as well, indicate, okay? Playworks is one of the cases you can use. So in the background, they actually recruit. They do recruitment as well. When you think about recruitment, I think previously we've mentioned